Y'all put me here.
Yeah,
Let me sit like this.
All right, girls, pull your t-shirts down and cover up the
Bluey.
rolls.
That's what I did. I kind of
Tis
looks like my
live.
calf looks.
So let me see if I can go to the side and look at this.
Do I? Yeah. Let me do.
This is live now.
This is
Yeah.
live. It's
Okay.
happening, y'all.
Film right now.
Bye. Oh, of course, I did sit up behind me.
Clearly, no one.
Do you just start off by talking?
Yeah, we'll start. I don't know what that is. This is clearly our first live stream. Welcome to the Talk About the Walkabout. That's your job
That's my
to
job.
do the intro.
Okay. Well, we welcome you all here, except you're not here.
We don't know.
But we
if
thought
you're
we'd try this live just to have some fun with it and see what goes on. I know some other people have done it. So we'll see what happens, see if anyone shows up.
Looks like there are people.
And maybe somebody's got some questions. We can answer them.
There are people in the chat.
All right.
Oh.
Do we have a question?
Lee says, "Oh, hi Buffy. Hi Poppy.
Hi,
Who's
Poppy.
Buffy?
I don't know, Buffy.
Who's Buffy? Oh,
Is that you?
Buffy.
Oh, Lee.
Yeah.
What did she say? Or he or she?
It's a she. It's a
Well,
she.
she just said hi. People are just saying hi.
Okay. Well, we'll say hi too. I'm Gray Man. This one right here is Beth. This one is Deborah. This is going to be guest hiker in a couple of days, Ann. And this is my lovely daughter, Kate, who helps me with all things YouTube. So
Trent's trail secretary, if you will.
we're all just sitting around the laptop tonight.
And if you have any questions for Gray Man about his
I'll successfully avoid every one of them.
trials and tribulations on the trail, pop him in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to kick it off with asking him about how many times he's cried so far.
I have not cried at all. In fact, I would say my biggest surprise of this adventure is how enjoyable it actually is. I thought it would be more work, more drudgery. I thought I'd just have to slog through it. And I kind of prepared myself. I told other people, that doing hard things isn't always fun, but it's fun at the end, or it's fun if you achieve it. But I've actually had fun every day. So that's really been one of my biggest surprises. If anyone was to ask, what's the biggest surprise out of this? I think that would be it.
That actually doesn't surprise me,
Why,
honestly.
Why that?
Because I think that, well, being the daughter of you and your reaction to happy, joyful things is to cry. Your reaction to happy, joyful things is to smile, which is a natural, normal reaction. They're both fine. They're lovely reactions.
That's what you get.
But I
Like
think
my
that
sister-in-law, she always cries.
it catches you off guard a little bit because you think, you see like a sappy movie or something like that, like you tear up, right? You look at Trent, watch a sappy movie, he's just over there smiling, So it doesn't surprise me that joy and happiness has been your reaction to it. Okay, we have a question.
All right.
How old are you, and have you always been a hiker?
I am 65 years old, and I have never had a backpack on my back before this. I've done a few day hikes, just the typical kind of things anybody who lives in a rural area would do. I mean, we've gone car camping, and we might hike to a vantage point, or we might hike to a lake or something. And when I was a child, my dad would take Sunday walks, and we'd go along with him. But no, not a hiker, not a backpacker.
Caleb says he's taking a break playing games to watch you on YouTube.
Oh, good. Caleb's my grandson. I tell you, you can always count on his family for any kind of support they can give. So Caleb's giving up Fortnite to watch his poppy.
That's quite a give.
That's quite a
I know.
That's a big gift.
Poppy's famous. Do you ladies have any questions, thoughts, comments for Gray Man? Not all at once.
Well, let's talk to Ann for a few minutes. Ann has flown in from Salt Lake City to walk with Gray Man for a few days. What possessed you to do that?
Oh boy, it's a multi-layered answer.
Well, we'll take the simple version.
Simple version. Simple version. I like to hike, and I thought it was really cool that you were going to do the Appalachian Trail when you retired, and I kind of like your approach too of just starting slowly and just seeing where it goes and how far you can get, and it's been really impressive to see you going so many miles, which I hope we won't do together that many in a day, but you're doing great.
Well,
And I'm a big hiker back in Salt Lake area, so just love to be out. I love to hike, backpack, and camp. So.
Get to see some green on this hike.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
green. Yeah, we don't see much of that in Utah. So
well, good. Glad to have you and look forward to that footage coming up.
and I'll try not to cry. I'll try.
It's okay. It's a normal reaction.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Let's see. What has been your biggest challenge?
Well, that's easy. The biggest challenge is eating enough. It's hard to replace the calories that you burn each day.
A problem I will never have.
Trail food is the worst. I take every advantage I can to get some town food. And you have to eat whatever you eat. There's no point in buying stuff that you just carry around. So sometimes you might not make the best choice, but if it's something you'll put in your mouth, ultimately it is the best choice. I just weighed myself a few minutes ago. I'm kind of holding after the initial weight loss, and I'm hoping I can at least maintain where I'm at. That is the biggest challenge, and it's the biggest peril to my hike. No joke.
Okay. Do you sleep well each night because it's relaxing, or are you worn out?
Well, I've said it many times. I love my sleep system. I love my hammock. I get in there just as soon as I can each night. Sometimes I'm in there 10 or 12 hours. I do not get bored. I do not get tired of it. I love it. I'll wake up several times during the night. I'll look at my watch, and I'm always happy if I've got, 2, 3, 4 more hours to sleep. So I don't sleep good anyway. Old people like myself don't really sleep that well, but I rest a lot, and I think 10 or 12 hours does me very good about recovering for the next day's hike.
Okay. Along the same lines, what made you go to a bridge hammock instead of a tapered end?
Tapered end.
Tapered end.
Well, the bridge hammock has a little flatter lie. It's maybe a little easier to get on your side. Sometimes I get on both my sides, but it was the flat lie that made me choose the bridge hammock. It's a little bit heavier, a little bit more complex with the poles, but I think it's worth it. And like I said in my sleep system video very early on, I consider it my luxury item. So with some of the names. With some of the names.
Okay. We've got Jackie on the go.
Jackie, glad to have you.
Lyndall Basria.
Basria.
Basria. Michael.
Michael.
I'm not even going to try to say the last name.
Okay.
Apologies. Michael something Jr. And your grandson, Caleb.
Good.
And he asked a very thought-provoking question.
All right.
What has been your best experience thus far?
Well, I can tell you that the day in the Grayson Highlands was a real interesting day. The night before, it snowed about 4 or 5 inches in about 30 minutes. It thundered and lightning and poured the snow down. Woke up, to a winter wonderland. It was challenging even to get out of camp because everything was white. You couldn't see the blazes. You couldn't really see the trail. But then, the sky cleared off. The sun came out. It was windy, but the snow started to melt. Got to see OG that day. That was a real exciting moment for me.
The young kids call that fanboying or fangirling.
And I'm a fan. I'll just tell you right off. Beth and I watched him last year. We enjoyed every minute of it, and I think he did it right. And so glad to see him. Got to see plenty of ponies, and it was just a highlight reel. Went through the tight man squeeze or whatever it is. It was a highlight reel of AT, and it's all packed into one day. The next day was normal, but I kept thinking, what's going on? It's kind of dull out here today, but it's just because the day before. So, Grayson Highlands, that was a good day out there because of all the different things that happened.
Okay. Jackie asks, I'm 62, want to do a through hike. I have done section hikes and worried I'll get bored with the same every day. Do you ever get bored? Or do you ever feel that way doing the same thing over and over? You kind of just...
Well, I thought I would, but for some reason I haven't. And I'm only about a third of the way through. We'll see. Like I like to say on my channel, I just kind of report things the way they are, or the way they are at the moment. But so far, I'm not bored. I enjoy looking around, and you got to temper your pace a little bit. If you're really trying to go hard, all you see is the trail in front of you. If you slow down just a little bit, you look around a little bit, see the countryside. So it's a balance between trying to get where you're going and taking the whole thing in. The more you can take in, I think the less bored you're going to be. But I've also took it as a given that at times you're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be hot. You're going to be cold. You're going to be hungry. You're going to be thirsty. You're going to be tired. You're going to be stinky and dirty. And if you realize that and accept that up front, then those kind of things don't bother you. So far, I've not been bored. I've enjoyed it. I'm thankful. I'll catch myself just grinning or laughing, and I'll say, "Why am I doing that?" Well, I'm just glad to be out here.
Gigi asks, after finishing this hike, do you think you will want to do it again?
I have told people that all my gear will go in the trash as soon as I get done with this hike, and I'll never put a backpack on again. But we'll see. Like I said, I was looking for a challenge. It wasn't necessarily a backpacking challenge. I was just looking for a challenge, and this is what
I've heard one and done.
Yeah. This is what I landed on, and I don't expect to hike after this, but I'm just reporting it as I see it right now.
Beth might find him wandering around in the back pasture.
Maybe.
Yeah, he might hang on to that hammock.
I will probably hang on to the hammock. I'll take it camping with the grandkids. We did that last fall. I used it. I loved it.
There was lots to see. Good job, Trent. Never say never.
There you go.
Who else you see?
Trent, right now is probably the best time on the trail because it's not all greened in. I remember people talking about Virginia being like a green tunnel, and you can't see as many views. But right now, as the tree leaves haven't come all the way out, you're getting some good views.
Well, I see what you're saying there, but me being a fair-skinned fella, I'm looking forward to the shade. I would much rather walk in the shade than in the sun.
You've had some really good pictures on your videos.
What I'm noticing right now is down low, the trees are pretty much filled in. Up high, they're still coming.
Right.
So I was at 4,000 some feet yesterday, and it was still sparse up top.
What's something you miss the most from normal life?
Think about this.
Cover your ears, Beth.
Well, I almost don't think about that because it might lead to grandkids. You gotta love them.
Video bombing.
Uh,
I did that a lot of times.
Okay, somebody brought the hook out.
yeah, his dad. Um,
That's awesome.
I'm just not thinking in terms of that right now. Probably what I really miss most is the food, but I'm really trying to stay present in what I'm doing. I think that is a big key to success. I've told y'all many times, once I've resupplied, I know where I'm going. I know where my next resupply is. I pretty much stay in the day I'm in. I just think about what I'm doing that day. So I'm not thinking about Katahdin. I'm not thinking about the next state. I'm not thinking about what's going on at home. I'm just being present where I am. And that seems to be working really well for me. So not really an answer, but then again, it is.
Nora asks, who is your favorite guest hiker? Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. You all will see that there's going to be a fairly good string of guest hikers. You've already seen my stepson, Evan, my son, walked the first mile with me. There's some coming up here within days. And to me, it's important to me to kind of share this with friends and loved ones. And anytime that I can include someone like that, I'm going to do it. And it's funny, the different people that have expressed an interest in walking at least a day. Anybody can walk a day. It's that second or third day that's hard to do. But I don't know who all my favorite's going to be.
Nora. I'm sure it was you, Nora. That's what she was.
So far.
So far.
That's right.
Anne's coming.
I have yet to make an appearance on the trail.
Anne might beat you out of your top position, Nora.
Not
So you're
that
gonna-
I would be trying.
You have to go back out there.
And then I'm going to do my hour walks.
Your hour on the trail.
Do you think you'll be able to adapt to a bed full time after the trail?
I'm thinking about taking my bed out and putting the hammock in. But it really is comfortable. I've had no back pain, no discomfort of any kind from being in that hammock. At home, sometimes, I wake up, my back is in a kink. If I try to lay on my stomach for more than 30 seconds, it'll get in a kink. But walking and the hammock have been really good for my back. My back was hurting me pretty severely just a few days before I started this hike. And the walking straightened it right out, and I've had no problem since. So, yeah, I think going back to a bed. And when I sleep in hostels or motels, I don't sleep as well. I don't get the rest that I do when I'm in my hammock.
You probably can't get yourself into positions that are technically bad for you to sleep on.
Correct.
Nora says she will make sure she is the favorite.
Game on.
Nora is a sweetheart, and she led us through that hike the other day. It's upcoming. She found the mile marker we were looking for, and there's another little treat in store for you all. So I appreciate that little girl very much. I may go watch the lacrosse match of hers in the morning.
Micah68 said, recently retired, and I know what you mean about the challenge. I did the first 175 miles in hammock after watching your videos and really wanted to get back out there.
Well, Micah, I hope you can. I mean, it's just what you make it, and you all know that I've been loving it. So if that's what you want to do, get out there and do it. I never thought I would be doing a long distance hike like this. I've told y'all many times I was a motorsports guy. I always wanted things that moved under their own power, but this has been eye-opening for me just because of how much I'm enjoying it.
There's a lot of comments coming through.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to have a hard time coming off the trail?
Well, Beth seems to think I do. I will.
Kate seems to think he will as well.
What they're basing that on is I saw Beth probably after about 5 weeks on the trail, and we did 2 days in Asheville, and I guess they picked me up one day, and then we had 2 nights in Asheville. And she said it really took about the 3rd day before I seemed halfway normal to her. But what they don't get is, you know, there's still work to be done on 0 days. You've got your clothes to clean. I went through some gear and sent some stuff home. I had videos to work on and upload. So it took me a good little bit of time to get kind of caught up to where I, you know, was able to just chill a little bit. So 0 days are busy days. So I don't know, Beth, what do you think? Think I'm gonna have a hard time getting off the
I
trail?
think it'll be an adjustment. No, I think you'll do okay, but I think it'll play with you for a little bit.
Well, one of the things, you know, I'm kind of confident in who I am. I know who I am. I'm not out here searching for anything. I'm out here trying to accomplish something. So I don't see it myself. Time will tell, and we'll report it however it is at the end.
How much weight have you lost?
Well, for sure, 28 pounds. I may have lost a little more and got a little back, but I was at least 228 when I started. In Asheville, I was 200. We weighed in here just a little while ago. I was 201. So I'm trying to keep my body from eating itself. If I can stay ahead of it, then hopefully we got, you know, some success to look forward to.
Carla asks, what wildlife have you encountered in the woods?
You know, it was very sparse in the first 3 states, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, almost no wildlife at all. That day in Grayson Highlands, I saw more ponies than I'd seen wild critters in all those 3 states. And in Virginia, I've seen many more deer, many more turkeys. Saw a turkey the other day. I was coming up a ridge, and it was on the other side of the hump, and I could just see its head and its eyeball looking at me. And I reached down to grab my camera, and I looked just to try to hit video. When I looked up, it was gone. I never saw it or heard it fly or run. It just kind of vanished. So, but yeah, no bears, no bear sign. I've heard some coyotes. Haven't seen anything. I've camped a whole lot by myself in the middle of the woods. Had no trouble with animals.
Black snakes.
Yeah, I did see a few black snakes this week. Coming up. Stay tuned.
Robert asks, what single item would you carry with you if weight were no concern? Riveting question, Robert.
That is a really good question. What would you carry? Maybe a charcoal grill. I don't know. You know, we're so used to thinking about it the other way. And I have gradually gotten rid of my winter items. I'm getting ready to get a new quilt, something more tuned for the weather. This weather this week, we've had high 80 and 90 degree. But I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't have a quick answer.
Micah says the correct answer is my wife.
Okay. Micah, you're not wrong.
That's a good question. Okay, so
Not to wait.
I have a follow-up question to that. Do you think that being this minimalist is going to impact your life after the trail? Or are you just going to fall back into having more stuff?
I'm going to go home and we're going to clean out closets because nothing fits anymore. And no, it's a real interesting thing. What will happen afterwards? I've got an old house to remodel. I remodeled it 3 times already. It's time for another one. And but I'm looking forward to working around the house, around the farm, doing things in the middle of the day that I used to have to do on nights and weekends. Beth and I had 3 weeks at home before I came out here, and we hung some gates and sharpened some posts and did a few things. And it was pleasurable working when you're just working for yourself. So being retired is great. I've only had like 3 weeks of normal retirement before I came out here. So, but I'm looking forward to that.
You are basically a minimalist.
I am basically a minimalist,
So,
but and a bit of a loner. That's why I think I do well on my own. I just about walked this whole trail by myself. Starting out slow, a lot of the people just walked on past me, and I didn't get to know them. But it's funny because I'm starting to see some people now that I saw in the beginning. So either I've caught up or they've slowed down, one or the other. So
Nora wants to know about your weight loss goals. How much weight are you planning to lose?
well, I don't need to lose any more, but what I would really like when I get home is not to put it all back on anymore. And that's a real challenge. I understand it. Everyone struggles with that. So I'd love to stay around 200. We're just going to have to see how hard that is.
Caleb says, don't let your guard down. Bigfoot is still out there.
It's funny.
We will find
The first week, I met 2 guys from Midland, Texas. And they said they had camped a little bit further down this road than any of the other campers. And Bigfoot came to visit them in the middle of the night. And they actually left after 4 days. So either Bigfoot scared them off the mountain or they decided hiking the AT just wasn't their bag. But I've seen nothing to give me any pause about any critters out there. It's funny because Beth and I have watched some of those Bigfoot shows at home, and they see the faintest depression in the ground and say, well, it must be a Bigfoot track. And so every time I see a track on the trail, even though it's got that topo footprint in it, I said, Bigfoot was here. Yeah,
Anywhere is topos.
anywhere.
Shameless plug.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Talk about your shoes. Perfect segue.
Yeah, how about that? Well, I'm changing shoes today. I started out with some Keens because I wanted some waterproof shoes, and I wanted some with a little higher upper in case I had to walk through any snow, and it turned out not to be the case. So waterproof shoes are a mixed bag. They'll keep your feet drier until it starts raining in top of them, and then you can't get them dry. After 275 miles in Hot Springs, I changed to the Topo Ultra Venture 3. And with the ventilation they have, on dry days, your feet are drier. Any sweat just evaporates right out. So on dry days, your feet are drier. If it starts raining, they get wetter. Um, and wet feet are always a problem. I haven't had any blisters yet, but wet feet kind of are prone to having you get blisters. Um, so y'all know that these videos are delayed a little bit. Let's just say that I've got over 500 miles on my first pair of topos, and I'm changing them out before I go back out. I did a little video segment on that today. You'll see I showed how they were worn down, but to look at them, they look fine. So I've compared the wear, new and old, and we'll see how different they feel. See if I can tell the difference when I go out.
Are they the same?
Same
Are
shoe,
they, okay.
same shoe.
Does it take you any time to break them in?
No, those little things don't really require breaking in. They're so flexible, they just kind of conform to your feet. Now, there was about a day transition from the Keens to the Topos, but I think Topo to Topo, I won't even notice it. I'm just hoping it feels better, just that I can tell, that the sponginess or whatever. We'll see. I'll report it when it happens.
Micah said, I lost 12 pounds in 16 days on the trail, but I have found it all back after 6 months at home.
Well, that's what I'm worried
So
about.
just don't go looking for it when you get home, and you'll be fine.
Well, I'm afraid it'll find me, but I'm going to work real hard on that. That'll be the get home goal, is to not put 28 pounds back on. I think this will set me up for a good, healthy retirement. And that's kind of one of my goals too. And I wonder, when you get back, what kind of shape is your body in? What's depleted? I know some of the ladies have trouble with iron. They come back, they're iron deficient. I may get some blood work done when I get back just to see what condition I'm in, just right post trail, and then see what it takes after 6 months or a year, see what it looks like then. I did my blood pressure just the other day, and I thought it was good for me. So, walking like this, I don't think it can hurt you.
That's it. I have a question.
All right.
Speak. You're all looking at me. So you've been doing video every day and photos and uploading it. Does that get to be kind of a chore?
Well, I think it is.
Tell me about that.
It is for a lot of hikers. But I have enjoyed watching other hikers so much that I knew I wanted to do YouTube. By watching other people, I kind of landed on wanting a 10-minute or so video every day. And they range from, if it's a 0 day, it's a little short. There are some days where you just don't film as much. And then one day it was what, like
24 minutes.
24 minutes. And so decided to cut that down a little bit. I want you all to be able to check up with what I'm doing, but I don't want to take so much time that, I want you to just be able to check on me and, look forward to the next day. But yeah, it is a commitment. It's a big commitment, but I enjoyed it so much watching other hikers. I wanted to do the same thing. And plus, it preserves the record for as long as YouTube stands.
Gigi says, good luck, Ann.
Thanks, Kiki.
Evan asked, does an inflatable pillow absorb what it needs to, or does it squeal back at you?
Evan is one of these guys that knows kind of the last resort at night. If you can't do anything about it, you just scream into a pillow. But I just haven't had those that need yet. Enjoying it too much. I'm happy to get to camp every night. I'm happy to get started every morning. I'm definitely happy to when I get some down food.
When you get that cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Caleb wants to know how much a backpack weighs.
I don't remember anymore. We weighed it in Asheville, and I had taken some things out. I'm getting ready to take a couple more things out, plus that smaller quilt. But when I started, my base weight was 18 pounds, 15 ounces, and I think we took 4.5 pounds out in Asheville. So it's coming down. Typically, though, you just fill it. Anything you save, you just fill it back up with food and hope it'll be something you'll eat.
Collins asks, how long does it take to edit your videos?
How long does it take, Caitlin?
We'll go on to Micah's question. Have you ever slept in a gathered-in hammock compared to a bridge hammock?
I have not. I've never tried. Well, I've laid in one. My stepson had one he would bring to his mom's October apple butter fest every year, and I laid in that one. But I just kind of always assumed from the beginning that a bridge hammock would be better for me, better for my back, and more comfortable in the long run. So I really didn't consider a gathered-in hammock. I just went for what I thought would work for me, and so far I'm very pleased with the results. And I'm going to trail days. That's coming up here before too long. I will probably go see Dutch and talk to him about the hammock. I'll let him look at the connection points where the hammock itself attaches to the hooks on the straps. They're not really showing anywhere, but I think I'll just let him take a look at his product that's been used, for this amount of time, see what he says. Same thing with my backpack. With the weight loss, I've just about used up the adjustment on my light AF pack. I'll probably take it by and talk to Chris and see if he thinks I can make it the rest of the way, because no matter how much weight you lose, your bones don't shrink. So I might be good. If he thinks I need more adjustment, then I will have to buy another pack, because those hip belts are not replaceable. They're sewn in. So what time is it?
8:38.
8:38. Anybody else have any questions? We talk about these video delays a lot, and I'm just going to throw it out there. A lot of people do video delays for security, and that's not really a concern in my demographic. The biggest concern for me is I wanted you all to have a daily video. I wanted you to be able to see something every day. And I really kind of was focused on the end of this trip. 100-mile wilderness, there's several days in there. You might be away from Wi-Fi. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get up Katahdin if you're worried about the weather, or there's no room at the Birches campground. You have to go stay in a hotel for a day or so. Then you got to get back home. So I wanted to build in enough time to make sure we were never caught not being able to produce a daily video. So I can tell you it's more than a week and it's less than 2 weeks.
Micah says he has a Dutch ware chameleon. Ask him about the anaconda. I had him make me one with a Dyneema
Yeah.
to gobble up my sleep system.
Gobble
Whatever
that.
that means.
I'll have to write that down and ask him about it.
Caleb says bye.
Bye. All right. Well, I think we'll call it for tonight. Appreciate all you coming along on this whole thing. We had no expectations of what might happen. So appreciate all of you. And we may or may not do this again, depending on. I'm getting further and further away from my family, and that's where this kind of stuff happens. So we'll see. But all righty.
Tammy says she's enjoyed watching your videos. Thanks for sharing.
Well, I appreciate
Gigi
it.
says thanks for sharing.
Yeah. And as we like to say, we might not do this tomorrow, but we're going to do something.
It won't be walking though.
It won't be long. All righty. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.